Aye, shepherd's pie. Greetings from the Philippines. Welcome back to the channel for a coffee and a chat. Now, it's been a while. Anyone who watches the channel will know I've been absent. I haven't uploaded for a few weeks now. Well, the reason is we've had a god-awful time here. God-awful. I would not be being over dramatic, I don't think, if I was to say probably the worst 1 or 2 weeks of my life, and that is saying something. But I don't think it was an understatement. Now, the fortunate thing is, it seems to be beside us now. It seems to be in the past. The problem was illness, and the problem was typhoons, which is why I'll probably say in the thumbnail, don't get sick in the Philippines, because it is a god-awful place to be sick at certain times of the year. In other words, cyclone season. I've probably been well enough now to make a video for, I don't know, the last week, but I'm glad I didn't, because it would have been incredibly negative. I had got to the point where I had decided that there was nowhere in the world that I wouldn't rather be than here. I had had it with the Philippines, and that was 2 reasons. As I say, I was sick. I've got no idea what was wrong with me. Rightly or wrongly, I have no faith in the doctors over here. I have no interest in going to see them to get a diagnosis, because in the time I've been here, I've heard so many horror stories in terms of misdiagnosis, this and pointless, tests for this and that. Unless I'm like at death's door, I'm not going to the doctors over here. And you can't really go to a doctor over here. It's not like the UK where you go and see a GP. Here, they want you to go to the hospital. And then you wait for hours, and then you have these pointless tests, and at the end of it, they come to no conclusions. A friend of mine was saying in a bar the other day I should do a video on, the pointless tests they do and how they just try and ram the bill up as much as possible before they tell you they don't know what's wrong with you. But I didn't go down that route, so I don't know enough about it to make a video. But I do know enough to know I don't trust I don't trust the doctors not over here. It's a guy I know, a local restaurant over here, a local bar. I'm not going to name the bar, because he probably doesn't want to be named. He said he's camera shy. But he had an operation on his hernia a couple of weeks back. Just a standard operation. And, it was booked in and everything. Came out of the hospital. A few days later, he's in absolute agony. Has to go back, has to have the operation again. I don't know if they'd left something inside or what they'd done. But just everything I've known and heard since I've been to the Philippines, it has put me off having anything to do with the doctors over here. Because I wouldn't trust the diagnosis, to be honest with you. Maybe I'm being foolish, maybe I'm not. But anyway, so I'm going round in circles here. It's been a while, forgive me. This is not going to be my most structured YouTube video by a long way. So what was wrong with me? We don't know. I had some kind of a virus, I'm guessing. But for a couple of days, I just had a blinding headache, and right at the back of my neck was hurting, and really stabbing pains behind the eyes. It wasn't migraines. I suffered from migraines in the past. It wasn't that. And for a couple of days I had it. I got really hot. I had fever. Ellen got me some tablets. The neighbours were good as gold across the road. They were sorting me out medication, going into town and getting stuff. Lovely people. Very grateful for that. But the weird thing about it was, I would be sick for a couple of days, and then I would think I had overcome it, and I would get up and start moving about, and then it would bang, it would hit you again. So for over a week, I had 2 or 3 false dawns where I thought I'd got past this thing. And a couple of times I came out in a rash as well. The last week I was just itching all over, but we got some antihistamines for that from the pharmacy. I went down and got those, and this is why I've got no faith in the Philippines. It's a typical thing. We went down to the local pharmacy down there. I said I'd like to speak to a pharmacist. He's got all these staff behind the counter, they're all wearing pharmacy uniforms. None of them are pharmacists. So I'm like, okay. She said, well, what's the problem? Can we help you? I said, well, I've got itching. Come out in a rash and I've been itching the last couple of days. I've had a fever. So she's like, do you want something topical? Which is obviously a cream. I was like, no, I want tablets. So she said, what kind of tablets do you want? So I'm like, well, I'm thinking, shouldn't you be telling me this? I said, antihistamines, I imagine. What antihistamines have you got? And she shows me a couple of boxes of these antihistamines. And I said, will these help with itching? And she's like, yes, sir, they will all help with itching. Which gets you thinking, well, why the hell didn't you recommend these in the first place? Why was I the one who had to say I wanted antihistamines? So anyway, she says, what strength do you want? So I'm like, I'll have what are the strongest ones you got? And I think it was 50 milligram. I could get 25 milligram or 50 milligram. So I said, just give me the strongest ones. She says, how many do you want? And I said, well, I want a box. It's like anything over here. They will not sell it by the box. You need to tell them how many tablets you want and they'll take them out. So I said, get me, I think they were like 50 pesos a tablet or something. I said, well, give me 10. So she gives me 10, gives them back to me. Then says, well, where are the directions? How do I take these? And she says, you take them till you stop itching. I looked and thought, but that's the Philippines for you. You leave the pharmacy. I had to Google it when I got back. There's no instructions on whether you can take it with alcohol, whether you have to do this. But not that I was going to be drinking anyway, but, don't take 8 tablets in more than 10 hours, 24 hours. Nothing. They just put these things into paper and just give them to you. Thank God for Google. Because you can check it, because I checked and it was said you could either take 25 or 50 mils of this. I can't remember what it was called. I think it was every 4 hours. I took them and they were fine, it worked. It was good. It was a good outcome. I'm just saying, it's like you go down to these places, forget getting advice from pharmacists, forget it over here. It's pointless. My old mate Ray had a bad burn in City Hall. And I went down to the pharmacist to get some stuff. They were trying to sell me, after sun. I'm saying the guy's blistered, he's had a burn. Yeah, after sun. I'm looking at it, I'm saying you can't put after sun on broken skin. So they're like, well, what do you want? And I think, Christ, what I want is someone who works in a pharmacy to have a clue what they're talking about and advise me. But anyway, that was it. I'm recovered now. But for about a week after that, I'm okay now. I was exhausted. I couldn't stay awake. Even though the symptoms had gone, I would sleep for like 14 hours, wake up for an hour, and then I would go back to sleep again. I just couldn't. It really knocked me for 6, whatever this was. But like I say, I'm over it now. But what made it 10 times worse, which is why I had such a down on the Philippines, this is all happening as we're supposed to be moving, as we get hit by a typhoon. Now, the move is gone now, we're not moving. That will be a video in itself. It's another reason why I was down on the Philippines. I am in a nasty, nasty dispute with our landlord, but that'll be a video in itself because it's the biggest mistake I've made in the Philippines is in terms of signing this rental agreement. So that will be its own video. But yeah, you have a fever, you're boiling hot, you're trying to cool down. Ellen got me these ice packs, which are great. You put them on your head. But we've got no power. For 3 days, no power. And the water goes off as well. So you're sweating like a mother. Can't have a shower to cool down. There's no water. There's no aircon. I was at a low ebb, I must admit. When the electricity went off, I'm literally lying there in bed, feverish. And I was like hallucinating a bit, things weren't making sense. And the power went off and I thought, can it get any worse? 3 days without power, I'm telling you. And the water. Where we are now is a nightmare. The house, it's not the house's fault. It's not all the landlord's fault. It's the area where we live. We live in a place called Combado, which is a part of I can't think what it's a part of now. Where the hell do we live? Is this old age or is this the virus? It's part of Bacon, and I wouldn't recommend moving here. People are lovely, people are friendly, but every time there's a earthquake, then every time there is a cyclone or something like that, it hits us harder here in terms of the utilities. The water goes off for a couple of days while they have to clean out the pipes. In Dumaguete, the electricity goes off like, 3 or 4 times in one day for a couple of hours at a time. Here, it's off for 3 days. It's always the last place to come back on. It's a joke. But there you go. Those are the joys of living in the Philippines. Now, and they really are the joys of living in the Philippines. I'm going to sound negative now, because I am being negative. Because I've never had an experience. I've never been ill like that in my life, and I've never had to contend with the power going off and the having no aircon, having no water and stuff like that. It's not a good place to get sick, fellas. Now there'll be people in the comments saying you're making a fuss. Well, I am making a fuss. Yeah, okay, fine. I'm past it now. I mean, I'm not joking. A week ago, I was like, sod this, I've done with this place. It's a godforsaken place. I've got to get out of it. If I hadn't been feeling so badly, I would have tried to leave. But there were reasons why I couldn't. I'll explain in the last video. But I was on a downer. I really was pissed off with this place. It's like, and when you're like that, you think negatively about everything. I was so angry the move had fallen through. I was so angry with the landlord. So angry with the utility companies. The utility companies over here drive me nuts. A week after we've had no electricity, they have a power cut at the weekend. They just switch it off again for 12 hours to do maintenance work. It is so badly resourced here. It's unbelievable. And I don't care about this nonsense about being third world countries. It's quite obvious it is the power companies are just pocketing all the money. The power here is no cheaper than it is in other Asian countries, but they do nothing in terms of investing in infrastructure. The company that we have the electricity from now, they don't even advertise the brownouts on their websites anymore. They used to notify people. They don't now. You have to look. I don't know how Ellen finds it, but she finds other websites that will tell you that this our company's having a brownout, because they just don't notify it. Because why would they? No one holds them, to account for it. No mayor's going to fine them or do whatever. Anyway, on to the positives. I'm better now. And we're happier now. The cyclones have gone. They weren't as bad as... that's the thing about these cyclones. I'm sure if you're in some fishing village on some island, and you had your house blown away and all that, it must be hell on earth. And you have my sympathies, my heart goes out to you. My impressions of cyclones in the Philippines on Siquijor and here is it just rains very heavily. There's a bit of wind and it rains. And the biggest pain of it is it knocks utilities out. Because I've been talking to people in the UK, they'll message me and say, oh, it must be terrifying having the cyclones. No, it's not. Not. What's terrifying is you sit there thinking, how long before the electric goes off? But as I say, to me, it's just been heavy rain. It's just been heavy rain. It's house doesn't leak or anything. But as I say, I'm sure on some of the islands, if you've got the wind and that coming in, I'm not very wise on what the differences are between cyclones and hurricanes and all that. But in the year plus I've been here, all I've seen is heavy rains. I haven't seen any hurricane winds like you get in Florida, all that kind of stuff. It's just cyclones just seem like heavy rain. And it can really disrupt things though. So the point, what is the point of this video? The point of this video was just to explain why I had been missing. I will try and make more positive content going forward, because I'm quite positive now, to be honest with you. It's like, I didn't have a near-death experience, that would be over dramatic. But at the time, I was so down, I'm thinking, I've done with this place. But now, I'm taking a far more philosophical approach to it. I am taking the Friedrich Nietzsche approach to it. I'm going to say that does not kill you, makes you stronger. And I am determined to embrace the Philippines for the next few months. And instead of living here, I'm going to go back in holiday mode. I was always saying over in Siquijor, I had to get out of holiday mode and I had to get into living mode. But now I'm thinking, living mode here is shit. I want to go back in holiday mode. And since we've got it, since I've recovered from the illness, we've gone out a hell of a lot more. Ellen's got a new scooter, that will be a video on that. But we've just been going out every night. When we knew there was a power cut at the weekend, I just booked in a hotel in town where they had a generator. You know, so we had a nice night with the power. That wasn't a problem. And we went down to Darwin, went to a few restaurants we'd never been to. Finished up with some mates at the Octagon Bar where they play, is it balls on a Sunday? Because to be honest with you, that is the solution I think now to living here. Is you've got what's different between the Philippines and Thailand is in Thailand you can just live a life and enjoy it. Here, in my humble experience, you've got to make the most out of the Philippines. You've got to make the effort. You've got to overcome the problems. And I've enjoyed the last week. I have done. I mean, when we do the next cost of living video, our costs have rocketed, but sod it. You know what I mean? I would rather be happy than just you know, existing, because that's the way I'm looking at it now, fellas. I always said I'd come here for 2 years. I always try and do what I say I'm going to do, and the idea of spending another 9 months here, 10 months, feeling the way I was feeling, nah, you know, that is no good to me. So we are going to try and spend our way to happiness, and it has been good. We've had some nice, since I resolved to do this last week, we've had some lovely meals out. I will probably do a video on the best places to eat in Sikihor, in Dumaguete. I don't know why, no one ever watches my videos. If I review a scooter, no one's interested. If I review a restaurant, no one's interested. But guess what? I'm going to do it anyway. You know, I'm going to do a lot more content on this video, on this channel now, because I find it therapeutic. One thing I will apologise about is my quizzes. I had to take some time off. Because I did 2 of the quizzes, and I was sick as a dog. When I said to the bar owners, look, I can't, I've got to take some time off. So this week I haven't done any quizzes. So I'm mindful of the fact that I have had people ask me in the comments, where are you doing your quizzes, what bars, what nights? I hope you haven't come this last week, because I didn't do the Sideways quiz and I didn't do the Kingswick quiz. But I will be doing them next week, back to normal. I was about to say enough about me, but it's my channel, isn't it? I mean, if you're not going to talk about me, what are we going to talk about? But yeah, you need to be aware about the illness. I mean, I don't know, I've got through this now, touch wood. But what I'm trying to get at is the Philippines is not a place to get sick. It will just throw things at you. You know, the way I was would be a problem in any country, but the no water, the electric and that, you know, it's kind of, it's just, I'm not going to mention this because I don't want to mention people's names, but I was talking to a friend of mine in a bar the other day, and he was telling me a friend of his had just got some, I won't go into too much details, but had just got a diagnosis that they might not have long to live. And the first thing I said to him, and the first thing he said to his friend was, get yourself to Thailand, get another diagnosis. You know, you don't listen to anything these people say over here. So I would like to, if I knew more about it, I would make a video on it myself. But I know of people, the guy I was talking to, he had a problem, an amoebic infection or whatever it was. So it was like kind of food poisoning or whatever. You go to the hospital here, they want to give you brain scans and lung scans. It's all about the money. You know what I mean? They will just give you every test in the book just to whack the costs up. They'll charge you 1,000 pesos for a paracetamol. Is it an exaggeration? Probably. But, you know, they will just, and then they'll turn around at the end of it and they'll just come up with bullshit. You know, they don't seem to have the ability in these places to say that it's the same in Thailand. They will not say they don't know what's wrong with you. They always have to come up with something. It's like when I was in Thailand, whenever I went to the doctors, I only went a few times, I would laugh at my girlfriend. They're going to turn around and say, it's because I drink too much coffee. And half the time, they won't even ask you how much coffee you drink. It's like the last time I went to a doctor over there, he said at the end of it, he said, you drink too much coffee. And I just smiled, and he said, why are you smiling? I said, you haven't asked me how much coffee I drink. I don't drink coffee. And his face went like that. I said, I drink tea. Oh, same. You know, they just, it was so refreshing the last time I was back in the UK and I saw a doctor there a couple of years ago. I had problems with my lungs. And the doctor said to me, Simon, I know what's not wrong with you, because they sent me for an x-ray. He said, but what bothers me is I don't know what is wrong with you. But I know what's not, and the things that it's not could be quite serious. We can rule them out, so it's positive. So he said, but I'm not quite sure what the problem is. And I was like, God, that is so refreshing to hear that. Because in the Philippines or China, they'll just say, oh, they always have to have a reason. It's smoking. It's like Ellen's daughter's got a problem with her chest at the moment. So they discovered that someone in the house smoked. So it's the smoking that's causing it. You know, it's always got, it's the coffee. They always have to have reasons over here. Why they can't say they don't know or whatever. I mean, anyway, I think I've gone on long enough now. But if you come in here and you've got bad health, I think this is what the point of me making this video, I'd give it serious consideration whether you really want to come here. Because, you know, they will say there are some great hospitals in Dumaguete. I've heard one, I'm not going to try and name it because I forgot it, but my friend who was telling me about the problem he had with his amoebic infection. He had gone to one of the hospitals which he'd been recommending. They'd sorted it out. They'd given him these tablets and done some blood tests and that, and they knew what it was straight away. So, but the point is, you're always going to have problems here. It is not a great medical system, and even if it was a great medical system, you've still got the problems with the utilities and the power going off. And God, if you've got cancer or chemotherapy or something like that, do you really want to be sitting in a house with no electricity? You know what I mean? Anyway. Each to their own. I'm not going to knock the Philippines to say, since we've, oh, I already have, haven't I? Since I've recovered from the illness, we've had a good week, you know, and we are going to make the most of it. So I'm staying in holiday mode now for the next few months. And when I say holiday mode, I don't mean I'm going to go back on drinking every night like I was in Sydney or when I was over there. I just mean we're just going to go out for a lot more, maybe go out every night, you know, just not let the place get you down. I mean, hopefully in a couple of weeks, we'd have got it out of our system, or I would have done, and I'll be happily staying in the house in, you know, some of the evenings. But at the moment, God, I'm just thinking, I am going to make this place into a happy life, regardless of what it takes. We're going to do it. So there you go. I've gone round and round. I will do a video about the landlord dispute, because this guy has turned out to be a prize, yeah. Unfortunately, he got me at a low ebb, because had I not been so sick at the time, had we not had power and that, I would probably have called his bluff and gone to court. But there were lots of threats made, which I'll go into in the next video. I'm not going to touch on that now, but that really pissed me off, because, and yeah, you know, I look back at it now and I think, why was I so weak? But I just could, you know, at the time, you know, it's like when you're really sick, you lose the energy for a fight, and I'm seeing these messages from him, and he's going to take it to this court, and they're going to block me leaving the country because it was just, anyway, that'll be another video. But I'm not going to let him get us down. You know, we lost out on the other place, but that's just one of those things. Just one of those, you know what I mean? You know, that which does not kill you makes you strong, as I say. Friedrich Nietzsche. I can never pronounce his name right. Friedrich Nietzsche. Anyway. But we'll do that in the next video. I did a little review of my last scooter, because I had to hand her back yesterday. Ellen's got her new scooter, so I'll probably do a video on that. She loves it. She's happy as Larry. He's starting to win me over. The old Fazio's not as bad a drive as I thought it was. So that's all to come. I will try and start posting at least a couple of times a week going forward. So if you enjoy the channel, hopefully you'll be happy to hear that. If you don't like the channel, you're probably happy I haven't been posting. But there you go. Anyway, I'm going to end it now. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed, it would be great if you did. Whether you do, whether you don't, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay safe, be lucky.